Welcome back to Book Talks Podcast. This is Kayla.
And Marisa.
And welcome to our Valentine's Day special. We're going to talk about all things romances.
Which
Not
is really your genre, cup of tea. Like, I enjoy them, but I feel like you live in them.
Yes. That's why I was looking for my favorites, and I went through Goodreads, and I have so many 5-star romances, but I have no recollection of what they're about.
Fair.
And I was like, I want to list this, but I'm like, what happened here? So I kind of narrowed down to 5. There was a couple that were like very close, but I should start writing reviews because I actually forget like 90% of the books I read.
I mean, that is why I write Goodreads reviews, because no one follows me, so no one is reading them except me. But it's helpful for me if I'm like reading or want to read a new author and I've already read one of their books. It's like, oh, I gave it 3 stars. Why? And then I can read my review and be like, okay, I said I'd give the author another try. Or if it's like Alice Feedy and I'm like, I will never write another book by her again. And then I always do. Always.
No, I have some favorite authors. It's hard to favorite books, but let's get into it. I have some questions that I'm going to ask, and then I can also turn it back on myself. But I actually don't know the answer to this. Are you a Valentine's Day lover or hater?
I mean, I just don't care about it because I've never had a reason to care about it. I've never been in a relationship on Valentine's Day. Okay, fun little anecdote here. In college, I did have a boyfriend and we went home for winter break. And it was, winter break in college lasted through part of January. I can't remember when, but I remember sitting in my bed being like, no, if I don't break up with him before Valentine's Day, he might say I love you. I don't want to have to say that back. And so I plotted my entire winter break on how to break up with him because I was terrified of spending it with him on Valentine's Day. Commitment issues.
I think I'm very indifferent to Valentine's Day. I like a theme. I do like wearing red to the office and having like a cute little event. Like I love a Galentine's Day theme, but I don't think I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm like a lover. I would say I think I hit one. My first Valentine's Day gift was in the 4th grade. I had a boyfriend, and obviously wasn't allowed to have a boyfriend, but he brought me chocolate and a teddy bear to school, and I was like so scared my mom was gonna find out I had a boyfriend, so I tried to hide it from her, and she was like so I do remember that.
Wow.
Honestly, me and Tom have no plans. It's busy season. I am taking it a day at a time. We actually have a baby shower upstate on Saturday, so
Okay.
we're going upstate, and he's gonna drive me and hang out with the dad to be. So
that's what you're doing for your Valentine's Day.
yeah. I think maybe we'll
romantic.
He wanted to see Wuthering Heights, and he actually just texted me. He said, "I heard Wuthering Heights sucks." So,
What's this new? I mean, it's not out yet. So is he just basing that off of what people are saying about it?
He said Wuthering Heights is supposed to stink, is what he said. He watches a lot of movie reviewers, so they might have early previews or I think early viewings. So he does read a lot of the pre-movie vlogs. But he wanted to see that, and I was like, let's paint pottery instead. I don't know if that's gonna stick either. Also, I plan to go in the office on Friday because I like Fridays over Tuesdays because it's less people there.
Okay.
So yeah, I think we'll probably just skip it. But I do love the romance genre. So if it means I can talk about romances more, then I'm all for it. But
Sure.
Valentine's Day itself, I wouldn't say I'm a hater. I also just I'm indifferent as well.
Yeah, fair.
Okay, so what is your all-time favorite romance trope?
I'm such a sucker for enemies to lovers, but I feel like that is so, everyone says that, but so it's not really cool anymore, but I do enjoy a little enemies to lovers. So one book that I really enjoyed that I enjoyed more than you was that book, The Hating Game, because they were just in the office, being mean to each other. And that's my love language, is just being mean to a guy. So for me, it was super relatable. And I was like, look, there's hope. And then everyone was like, this wasn't very good. And I was like, oh, never mind. But yeah, so that is, I really enjoy enemies to lovers. I like when people are mean to each other. The problem with enemies to lovers these days is they're usually not really enemies. Usually there's this immediate, oh, I want you, but, we're going to pretend we're enemies, but we're not really enemies. So there aren't too many true enemies to lovers, probably. But Anything where they're being mean to each other, I enjoy.
I'd say my issue with the hating games was not the enemies to lover fact. It was that he was really creepy and like in love with her the whole time. And he painted his bedroom walls the colors of her eyes. Like, that's
Okay.
so weird.
Okay,
And I
yes.
stand by that.
No, I think that's fair. I literally forgot about that until you just said he was creepy. And then I was like, oh, yeah, he did do that really weird thing where she didn't know he was in love with her and he paints his bedroom walls the color of her eyes. Yeah, you're right. That was giving serial killer. So you're not wrong. But maybe that's why I also liked it because I was like, is this going to turn into a serial killer book? Anyway.
There's a really good Christina Lauren book on that same plot line of like like people like competing for the same position, and like it was like kind of an enemies to lover take, but less problematic. Have you read it?
Feel like we absolutely read this.
Right? Maybe?
Right? It wasn't the True Love Experiment, I don't think. No, it wasn't. Like looking at my bookshelf, like which one was it?
Was it? Okay, yeah, I'm looking at my thing too.
That sounds so familiar.
I'm looking at Dating You, Hating You, maybe?
Is that it?
Let me read them. I don't know. So many Christina Lauren books.
They have way more books than I've even heard of them because I feel like only certain ones of theirs went mainstream and the rest are like these hidden, probably Kindle Unlimited gems that I haven't had the pleasure of reading. But I really like their books, and I'm very excited because they have their new one coming out this year called The Shippers, and I can't remember when it's supposed to come out, but I'm definitely going to read it because they're a solid writing duo.
Yeah, it's Dating You, Hating You. I don't think they're Kindle Unlimited reads. They're just like older books.
Yeah.
Like they came out honestly like 2015, like kind of before the like book talk revitalized books again. It was when Christina Lawrence like wrote all their books. Like the one that I feel like really pulled me to their books was the Unhoneymooners.
Yes.
Which that came out, let me see. That came out in 2019. And that was like, I feel like their newer work at that time. So they have a lot of books just older. I don't even think they're on Kindle Unlimited. I think I read them a lot on Libby.
Mm-hmm.
I read a good bit, and they recently redid all their covers. So I wanted to buy all their new covers, but then I was like double buying books, and we're trying to avoid that.
I know.
But I do, yeah. They have a better worker rival enemies to lover trope that is not stalkerish.
Some people enjoy having a stalker, and I'm just gonna leave it there. What about you? What's your favorite romance book trope?
Have recently loved like a second chance romance, or like a friends to lovers.
Friends to Lovers is very sweet. I feel like a couple of the Catherine Sinner books have been Friends to Lovers. I always think it's a Catherine Sinner book, but now I don't know if it is or not. It's the one where like she gets a divorce and he breaks up with his girlfriend and then they move in together because his girlfriend gets with that guy. And so they're forced to live together. That one just was really sweet because they obviously knew each other. They were not best friends or anything, but friends. They didn't like start off as enemies. There was this friendship there because they both got dumped. And so I don't know, like Friends to Lovers is really sweet and just there's so much more history there. And I will say, didn't know this, but now that I'm deep in Wuthering Heights, it's like a friends to lovers thing.
Interesting.
Kind of a forbidden lover, friends to forbidden lovers. But they're best friends as children.
I think you were quoting Emily Henry's book, the one before It's a Great Big Beautiful Life. What's
Happy
the one?
Place, was I?
Yeah, no, I think it's Happy Place.
I don't know.
It's not Happy Place because that one's the one with the friends. Which one is gonna bother me? I feel like I have it on my shelf. It's definitely you definitely described because she's like a librarian and he.
Yes,
I just remember him
know.
smoking.
Every time I talk about it, I'm like, I think it's Catherine Sinner, but I know deep down it's not because we've had this conversation before. But in my mind, it was a Catherine Sinner book, and I don't know why.
It's funny story.
Right. Yes. It's no longer a funny story that I've told it 6 times.
Well, I think we were ranking our favorite Emily Henry book, and you're like, I haven't read this one. And then, like, you looked, and you actually had read it.
Left a whole review being like, this was amazing! Yeah. Mm-hmm. That sounds about right.
Well, so my next question is, what book couple lives rent-free in your head?
Book couple?
Is it that story?
I think it's a funny story. I talk about them all the time. I don't know their names. I don't remember who wrote them, but they live in my mind.
So you know what actually was in my head? I read the sweetest like holiday romance book, and it's actually written by a man, which I have not really read a lot of romance books written by men, which I don't know if that's a flaw on my behalf or just the romance publishing industry. But so they were both widows. Like
Okay.
the woman, her husband died of like cancer. So she kind of like knew it was coming for a little bit, but she had two small children. The other guy, his wife, they had no kids. She died in like a really tragic airplane accident. So they were both like really sad, and their moms were like trying to set them up because they were like,
Mm.
"Oh, we both have sad widow children," and they both lived in like Baltimore, and they started just like watching movies together, like holiday movies, and it was just like it was so cute. And I don't know if I love it because I was reading really bad holiday romances around this, but it really I think about it still, and it was so sweet. And I honestly, well, it ended like I don't want to give much away, but like I do think like there's like a chance around like it was meant to be. So not that I wish their like other spouses had died, but like it was just really cute, and I really liked it.
I don't enjoy reading about widows, and that sounds really bad, and I wish I could walk that back a little bit. Watch that goes viral on TikTok. Canceled. So let me try this again. I feel like the widow situation makes me sad for the person who died. And then I just know as a feeler, I would feel a lot of guilt moving on. And so when it's done right and like explained well and how, you can have loved this person and love again, great. But I feel like I've read ones where it's almost like I disregard the person that I loved before and you are the one I was meant to be with the whole time. And that makes me uncomfy. So like maybe I've just read some bad ones, and this was probably like in 2019 when I first got back, or maybe 2020 when I first got back into reading. I feel like I read one or two where it's always the guy who was widowed, and then he's like, "You are the woman I was meant to be with the whole time." It's like, well, that's kind of disrespectful to your first wife, but okay.
Yeah, I think it worked because they were both widowed,
Hmm.
and they both like still honored each other, but they felt like missed like pieces put together. Like they both just like even the kids like needed him, and like it just worked out so well. It
That's
was
sweet.
such a good story. So that one's been living in my head rent free for a while. I did not see a lot of people talking about it, and I think more people need to talk about it. I don't know if it gets like swept under the holiday romance genre and like kind of tucked away, but I have read a lot of holiday romances. I see this in my holiday romance vlog challenge thing. It's one of the best I've ever read, and I think people should read it more.
What else
And
you
I'll
got
leave
for
it
me? I
there.
feel like I'm knocking these questions out of the park.
Okay. What trope instantly ruins a book for you? Which is it widows?
My previous answers are just like answer the next question. No, you know which one freaks me out is the pregnancy trope. And I hear it a lot. And this is why a few videos back you said you read one with a pregnancy trope that like shocked you, that you enjoyed. You like didn't see it coming and you actually really enjoyed it. And in the video I was making faces like, what? And hopefully our editing software cut that out because I was like baffled. How could you enjoy a pregnancy trope? It's not, I have nothing against pregnancy. I'm very in favor of pregnancy for other people. Canceled.
She hates widows. She hates pregnancy.
Like, stop dying, stop giving birth to new people. No, it always shocks me. So there's actually a pregnancy trope in a book I read recently that was a complete shock. And I almost like DNF'd the book. This wasn't a romance, and I'm not going to tell you what book it was because it would be like a huge spoiler. But I remember I immediately went to my mom because, I'm 30 and live at home and that's normal. And I went to her and I was like, this is getting weird. Like all of a sudden this character is now pregnant and I don't really like it. And then I pushed through and enjoyed the book. But when it happens unexpectedly, I do get the ick and kind of am like, I don't know if I want to finish it.
See, I actually before like when I wrote this question, or I was like googling questions and I found it. I don't understand everyone's qualms with pregnancy tropes because I don't mind it always. Like actually, I really feel like I don't mind it. I honestly feel like wasn't there? I mean, like there was a pregnancy trope in ACOTAR and Throne of Glass. Like, I don't mind it. Everyone like hates
People
that she put that
hate
in.
it. They hate it. And like, they hate that Sarah J. Maas let Feyre get pregnant. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure in the book before, Feyre was like, I want to have your kid recent. Like, it didn't come out of left field. I mean, I get she's this powerful, badass person. And so a lot of readers want to live in that moment. But like, also the character was like, I want to have a baby. And I wasn't bothered by it. I do know the internet is furious about that.
I don't get the hatred. And I love, like, whenever there's an epilogue and they, like, are pregnant and have a kid, I am so happy. It makes me so happy. I actually have Ready or Not by Kara Persone listed as one of my top romances, which is the pregnancy trope. But it's kind of like the whole point of the book. So she has like a one night stand and gets pregnant, and she's like on her own. She lives in Manhattan. She works for, I want to say, a publishing house, and she's like kind of screwed. And her best friend also can't have any kids. Like, keeps trying to get pregnant, and she's like struggling. So like it's like pulling her friendship apart. She's like all alone. And her best friend's brother, who she grew up with, starts helping her and just like starts being around to take her to like just there. You know, they like kind of. I mean,
what?
And like you have like the guy who she had a one night stand with, like where you're kind of rooting for him, but then also you want the brother, and it was just like really good. I don't really have qualms with the pregnancy trope. I don't really care. I think if it's done well, I think it could make a very good story. I'm trying to think of like Elsie Silver. She wrote 2 books that technically I guess would have I feel like people are saying the pregnancy trope as if it's like there's a literal hint of a pregnancy in it, and they're like, pregnancy trope, we're done. But like, I don't know. I feel like the trope is like the whole plot of the book to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I haven't really read
agree.
many actual pregnancy trope books, except like 2 of them.
I think where a lot of people get mad about it, and I don't, but this is the takeaway I've gotten from other people, is when the happily ever after is the man achieving his dreams and the woman having a baby. Because in a lot of these books, they're in different cities or a choice has to be made, and she gives up her dream to go be with the guy. And then the epilogue is happily ever after, oh, by the way, pregnant. And people get upset about that. I push back on that, not online because I'm scared of people online, but I would push back on that and remind people of the quote in Little Women where Jo is making a big deal about her older sister wanting to get married and have a simple life and have a baby. And the older sister says to Jo, like, just because my dreams are different than you doesn't make them any less important. And I think that's really important to remember because a lot of women do dream of getting married and having children. Like, I don't personally, but a lot of people do. And I did used to, like in my teens, I guess. But like now that I'm 30, it's not really like I'd like to fall in love, sure. But like kids, I don't know. We'll see. So, but some women do. And I think as readers, getting upset that the author made this character's dream be that is a little short-sighted. And I think that's where their anger stems from, is just, oh, well, why'd she have to give up her dream and get pregnant? Well, maybe getting pregnant was her dream. I don't know. Maybe that means the author didn't do a good enough job of saying that was her dream. But look, maybe that was her dream. And I support it. I support a happily ever after epilogue like
I
that.
have a theory. Maybe we're all traumatized from Twilight.
Dude. Okay, I wasn't gonna bring up like love triangles and all that stuff, but I was thinking like Twilight really did make me kind of hate love triangles, and yeah, pregnancy. And then what if a 20-year-old man imprints on my child and I must hand it over to him? Like, there's just so many problematic things about that.
Feel like that is the root of the issue.
You're not wrong. I believe this theory should probably be moved in the category of fact, because it is the women in the age range who would have read Twilight. And I do think there's some PTSD from that. Absolutely.
That was like wild. And we were reading that in like high school. And I think about that now and I'm like, this pregnancy almost killed her.
Yeah. And like, she worked so hard for 3 books to be with the man she loved and to be a vampire. And then boom, she's pregnant. It's gonna kill her. And she's like, Edward, sorry, you're like chopped liver now. I'm gonna have this baby with Renesmee. No, wait, with whatever, Rosalie. And I'm gonna
Yeah.
name her Renesmee. Have you seen what people call the baby online? They literally call it anything but Renesmee. They'll be like, rent a car insurance, like they'll just call it random things because everyone hates that plot.
Yeah, no, I feel like it ruined it. Like even in Throne of Glass, I remember the part where like Aelin like has a pregnancy scare and like Rowan's like, do you want to have protection? Like, do you want to stop? And she's like, no, this is the only chance that I could continue my bloodline. Like, it's rare that if I have a child anyway. Like, no, why would I? And I feel like I don't see the qualm with that. I don't see the qualm with Freyr having a kid. Her story, it's technically ended. Like, this is like her happy ever after. She's living her best life with Rhys up in the mountains, having crazy sex. Like, they're vibing.
Yeah.
I hope in the next books we get Nesta and Cassian have a kid. I would think Cassian would be the best dad, and I stand by that.
The best dad. He would be so fun. And the only problem I see is Nesta's going to have to be the implementer of rules and the stricter parent. And I think Cassian needs to step up. I know they don't have a kid yet, but I think he needs to step up and not make her be the bad guy.
So I have no problems with that. I do think my trope that I hate is when girl dates brothers. I can't get behind that. Like, I know.
I thought you meant her brother for a second. And I was like, yeah, I think most people hate that.
No, like the Summer I Turned Pretty, and then also the hillbilly version of that. And when I read the Summer I Turned Pretty when I was like 18, 17, I thought it was so like dreamy. But then watching it unfold on TV, I'm like, this is so messy and so unnecessary. And the fact that we have like 2 shows out right now with this same plot line, I'm like, this is like such a red flag.
Like, Belly's the problem. It's Belly. It's the summer I ruined a family.
If I met a girl and she's like, I dated this brother and now I'm marrying this brother, it'd be like, what's wrong with her? Why are we romanticizing this? And also, like, I don't love a love triangle because someone's gonna get hurt. So those are my tropes. I don't care about pregnancy tropes.
Didn't that book series we read, the Crave series with Tracy Wolf, didn't the main character switch from one brother to a different brother? Or am I remembering that wrong?
I feel like she did.
Like
or she was kind of toying between the two.
Yeah. I just remember something to do with brothers. And yeah, I don't love that. It's messy. Like, when they say keep it in the family, they don't mean romantically. So
I kind of blocked that Crave book out of my brain. It was literally just like garbage.
You know, I have seen reviews of it lately that make me want to reread the whole series. People say you take it with a grain of salt and just read it for the vibes and the humor, that it's really entertaining. And I was like, was I being too hard on it? Should I have just set 0 expectations and been like, she's a freaking gargoyle? That's hysterical.
So my only point that I might agree with them is that I read all of the Vampire Diaries, and that is independently published and very large. They're like, each book's like 1,000 pages.
Dang.
No, not the Vampire Diaries. The Zodiac Academy, which was like 11 books, and it was so many unnecessary parts, and it was so many like crazy different species. I can't even name them. They were so bizarre. And I don't think there were brothers in there, but there were sisters, and I did read all of it. It was, and I honestly, like, I don't recommend it to anybody, but like, it was very entertaining. So I agree with that person about the Crave series. I just don't think I put myself through the Crave series. Also, wasn't the Crave like YA?
I think it was supposed to be. I don't know. Isn't she on like book 6 or 7 at this point? Do we think it's still YA?
Is she still coming out with books?
I assume so. I feel like she's like Jennifer L. Armentrout and is just never going to conclude the series and will just keep publishing them. But maybe it's done.
I don't know. That should have been a trilogy, if any, and I don't even know where I put those books, but it is not a journey that I plan to take again.
Me neither. I actually just sold my copy of Covet that we had gotten. I like wanted to hold on to all the books we'd ever received because I was like, it's so special. And then I was like, I don't have any other books in this series, so you've got to go. Also, I didn't really like you anyway.
Well, I think there's a big plagiarizing case on them right now. Like, they basically stole from Harry Potter and Twilight.
I mean, the covers are basically the Twilight covers. So yeah, I could see that.
I love how Twilight re-releases their covers, and it's just the same thing, just bigger font.
I was at Walmart and they had some like 20-year anniversary edition or something like that. And like it was pretty. And I almost bought it because I was like, do I need this? And then I was like, you don't need this. It's Twilight.
Okay, so the next question is, what are romances that you recommend to people who don't like romances?
Okay. Well, that depends. If someone is into smut and spice, I'm going to recommend them like Candy Steiner because her stuff's on Kindle Unlimited. They're quick, easy reads. She does the whole hockey sports stuff. And I feel like those are just really easy to get into and read. If someone's looking for less smut, more like character development and plot, I'm going to say anything Abby Jimenez, anything Catherine Center. They are my top two, like above Emily Henry. I would even put them. And I read all Emily Henry's books, but like Catherine Center, Abby Jimenez, they do a great job. Also in the smut category, I'd put Allie Hazelwood, but just because she's very tried and true. And her books just make me a little uncomfy with the big guy, little girl, but I can get over it for the sake of the plot.
See, I never recommend Allie Hazelwood to non-romance readers because
Okay.
I do think,
It's too much.
yeah, I do. Not her earlier work. I think her most recent work,
Yeah.
they're a little too much. I mean, I enjoy them. I read them in like 2 days. I love them, but
I just
I
feel
wouldn't
like
recommend it.
they're so popular that if you don't like those, maybe romance isn't for you. I don't know. But again, they're a little smuttier. So if people like smut, I'd recommend them. But yeah, if someone's like new to romance, yeah, you're right. Probably not the smutty
I
stuff.
would do, yeah, Emily Henry, Catherine Center, and maybe Abby Jimenez. I would start with her earlier work and then like have them work their way down. Because I feel like her earlier work was very like it pulls you in. I don't know if did you read her first couple books?
I don't. Part of Your World was the first book I read by her.
You have to read what is it? The like playlist. I forget which one it is.
All her books are on my TBR. Actually, I need to read the Say You'll Remember Me one that's sitting there. But my all-time favorite one by her is Yours Truly. And that's the one about the guy who's like divorced. I would recommend that one. I don't know if I don't think it's considered an earlier work, but I think it was really good.
The first book I read by her was the Happy Ever After playlist,
Mm-hmm.
which was the second book in the series, and then The Friend Zone was the first one. I feel like we read Life's Too Short together, but those three are really good. I would actually even start there. But The Happy Ever After is actually about a widow, which I know you don't like, but I thought it was done tastefully.
You know, widows, pregnant women.
Wait, you did read it. You rated it.
Did I? Wait, which one was
The Happy Ever After playlist.
I rated it?
You gave it 4 stars.
I have a zero memory. I thought that was on my TBR.
Wait, that's so funny.
Oh my gosh. I hope I left a review. Otherwise,
You
I
did.
don't. Okay, good.
Oh my god, you're so funny. You didn't read The Friend Zone.
Which
Just
is
so you know.
crazy because I own The Friend Zone, but I don't own this book, The Happy Ever After playlist.
You marked it as want to read, so yeah, you're that's so funny. Okay.
I shock myself
Well-
sometimes with my reading repertoire.
So yeah, I would recommend her. Also, I think I'd recommend K.A. Tucker doesn't have a lot of books, but she was one of our original favorites.
Mm-hmm. She was. Her and Sarah Dessen, I feel like we got into when we started podcasting in 2020. And I haven't picked up one of their books since, but I feel like K.A. Tucker was a super sound choice. Just we did, not Say You'll Remember Me.
No, it's Say You Still Love Me.
Say You Still Love Me. Then we did the whole Simple Wild series, which was in Alaska, really good. And then we kind of stopped, but they were all good books.
I think she doesn't have any more.
No, but doesn't she publish under like a different name?
Wait, so she does have other books, but they're just not ones I'd recommend.
Right. And you've read them and I want to read them, but yeah, don't recommend to new readers.
Yeah, no, they are quite steamy. She used to write under a pen name. I forget what it was. And she has recently re-released it under her own name. but it was she really has played around with genres. It was the Wolf Hotel series.
Gosh, you're right. She's played around with genres. We did A Fate of Wrath and Flame, and that's K.A.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes, and she also, I think, writes thrillers. She has the one 10 Tiny Breaths, which kind of looks like a girl drowning.
I have that book on my shelf somewhere, and I'm supposed to read it this year. So crazy.
And she also wrote some, like, I honestly want to say, yeah, the Empire Nightclub, like some, like, gang lord book as well, which I have read. But I read it when I was, like, under a different name, and also I think we got that sent, like, an ebook copy. They were very good, but I would not recommend to others.
We should make a video of books that we've read or want to read that we didn't put on our public Goodreads.
No, I think it's on my public Goodreads. I just don't think so. I think 'cause I wrote it under her like pen name, it's not showing up. But I think if I went into my reading, like the books I've read, it's just
Okay.
hard to scroll through those. I just like Google K Tucker and it was there. There was another series that I read like 10 books in, and it has very similar covers. I forget what it's called, but I actually have a lot of YA books that got me into reading when we like kind of were not reading that I love. I honestly forget what happened in them, but I really liked Emery Lord
Yes.
and what is their name? Morgan Matson. I love those when we were like only reading YA. And then we branched into adult and we can't go back.
I know. So you made me buy 2 books. I didn't buy any of the Emery Lord books, but I bought Second Chance Summer by Matson. And then I also bought Love and Gelato. And I've never read those books. And literally from the time you recommended them in 2020, I bought them and they have sat on my shelf untouched. So this is the year I'm going to read some YA romance because girl's got to get through her TBR back here.
Second Chance Summer was so sad. I literally wrote, I'm glad I'm not alone with the tears after reading other reviews. It takes a great book to have you staying all night sobbing. I couldn't put it down. I never read a book that had me so emotionally invested and distraught for characters. And I never write reviews. This review is from April 19th, 2019.
Wow. So maybe I was going to save it till summer, but busy season makes me want to cry. Maybe I should pick that bad boy up now.
I did love Love and Gelato. I feel like I recently read a book that took place. I feel like I read the 3rd book recently. Oh, I did. I read it like last year. I bought the 3rd one. I didn't read it, so I was trying to read all my TBRs. But the first one was the best. The second 2, I wouldn't say are worth the read. Because she kind of like does like spin-offs. So she did Love and Luck and then Love and Olives. But like different main characters. She was just kind of playing with the names. But I know. There's a lot of romance genres. There's a lot of romance books up in this head that I need to like pull out because I've read so many.
I know. Do you read gang, mob boss type romances? Because they intrigue me, but I'm scared.
I don't love them. I've only read that one from K. Tucker and I didn't have like an issue with it. I would say Magnolia Park series. That one does teeter into the gang lord a little bit. That series was like very good. So I made a list of just like my top 5 romances, and this was really hard because I had so many 5 stars. So whenever Ready or Not by Cara Pistone, St. Henry's Holiday Movie Marathon, and then I wrote Heartless by Elsie Silver. So this is the second one in her Chestnut Spring series. And this one actually has pregnancy trope, but I really liked it. I thought it was like, I forget, like, I'm trying to think of the word to use, but it was like, there was so much like yearning, but she was like his nanny and she was like taking care of his kid and then they fall in love. And so it was really cute. I liked it the most out of all of them. I don't think you'd like it, but I loved it.
You said she was his nanny. I was thinking there was like 20-year age gap.
No.
Oh,
like
you're into cougar
kids.
books. Okay, got it. You like an older woman, younger man trope. Got it.
No, like his kids.
I'm glad you clarified with the his kids because I was like, you were just full of surprises with loving pregnancy tropes and cougars. Like, I did not know this side of you.
And then I also did Only When It's Us by Chloe Lees. So this one is the Bergman Brothers series. And I remember I read it like 2 busy seasons ago. It really pulled me in. The first 4 are really good. I would say I did not finish the series. A big thing is that she went from independently published to published house, and they changed the covers. So I already own the first like 5 or 6 in that one cover, and I wasn't gonna commit to getting the rest.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think I still have them. I think they're in storage. The first one, they're both like she's a college soccer player, and I feel like he's just a regular student, but he's actually like deaf. He has like 8 siblings, and they're like this super close family. I think her like mom's dead, so she's like basically looking for a family, and it was a really cute romance. I kind of forget the gist of it after. I think they were like paired together in science project or something like that,
Mm,
but it was really cute, and everyone praises it for like hearing inclusivity. But
got it.
I thought it was just a good romance, and it like led me into reading that series. I do like that series. I should finish it. I just haven't had a chance.
Yeah. No, is that going to be one of your series you finish this year?
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure. And then also I have Say You Still Love Me, because I was thinking about like what got me back to like where we're reading, and I'm like, this book was like a gateway for us. Like it was our first podcast book ever, I think.
It was. We spent multiple episodes on it. Shout out to the ones who have listened to all those. You guys are the real ones.
Our original I guess setup for the podcast was we literally covered chapter, and like we did like a handful of chapters and a handful of chapters and a handful of chapters. So we literally did 3 episodes on Say You Still Love Me.
On a 300-page romance. Killing it. No, I think we wanted to approach it like it was a book club, but it just wasn't the right format for us or probably for the audience. So I like what we do now better. And, I'm actually going to join a book club where I didn't tell you this. I was with a group of people on Sunday and they were like, hey, I like to read. And then someone was like, I also like to read. And then I was like, I have a podcast where I talk about books. And then we're like, wait, should we like be friends? And so we're only going to do it once a month. And the first book we chose, I've actually already read, Divine Rivals. And I told them if we do that one, then we have to do the second one. And they're like, oh no. And I was like, yeah, no, we have to. But so we're going to do that. And I was like, that is where we should keep chapter by chapter breakdowns. Doesn't belong in a multiple series podcast.
We would have to have no job to commit to that.
Honestly, that's the dream, Kayla. So please subscribe.
I know you didn't pull any beforehand, but off the top of your head, what are your let's like give me 5 romances.
Okay. Well, obviously, the one that I think is a Catherine Center book that is actually Emily Henry. And I've already forgotten what you said it was called, but we talked about it. So, you guys go find that. That's obviously one of my favorites. Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. I can't recommend it enough. I'm not divorced, but it resonated with me so much. Loved it so much. I'm going to throw one in here that you haven't read, but I read. We got books from Aardvark and they sent me this one. It's called Any Trope But You by Victoria Levine. And I think if you're new to romances, this is a very cute introduction to every single possible romance trope just hitting you in the face all at once. Because basically, it's set in Alaska, kind of like K.A. Tucker's book. So she's in this remote location. It's cold. And then, there's this like hunky man who's really good at chopping wood. But like everything that happens in a typical romance book starts happening to her, right? Like she slips and falls and he catches her and, she tries to start a fire and sets her house on fire and he has to rescue her and, just all kinds of things. So I think it's really cute. And if you're new to romances, it's kind of just a cheeky way to get into all the different tropes. I'd be remiss not to recommend a Catherine Center book. I think The Rom-Commers is still my favorite, but The Shippers is coming out this year. And we'll see if I like that better. I feel like I'm not going to like that better because I actually don't like books that take place on boats typically. Because I said this in an early TikTok video or something like when I first started posting. I was like, I don't like books on pirate ships. People were like, what does that mean? I think I have a healthy fear of the deep sea. And so when you're like on a cruise and you're stuck, like I've just seen too many thrillers where someone is thrown overboard and dies or something. So like in my mind, that's not a romantic setting, but you know what? I'm excited for her new book. And then, okay. I'm going to recommend one that I've never said to you before. Can I even get the name right? It's like one of the first books I've ever read. I know the author. It's by A.L. Jackson. Let me pull up the name really quickly of the book. So the book it was probably the first romance I ever read. when I started reading again, I left this update in May of 2020. It's called When We Collide by A.L. Jackson, and it is not a happy romance. Typically, I like the happy, easy romances, but this was serious. I think there might have been domestic abuse involved. I think there might have been someone who was divorced, but it was a second chance romance where basically she reconnects with someone who was always in love with her, but she kind of chose the wrong guy, the wrong path. And it's about their second chance. And so it's called When We Collide. And it is very emotional. I gave it 5 stars. I literally said, wow, just wow. I don't know what to say. And then I went on for 6 paragraphs saying everything I wanted to say. So really, I really like that one. And I don't think I've ever talked about it before on the podcast. So I'll throw that one in there as well.
I feel like you have mentioned him, but like in our earlier episodes, like way time ago.
Yeah, like in 2020. I haven't read a single other thing by A.L. Jackson, but I have 3 of his or her books. I'm assuming it's a girl, but I don't know. I judged you for reading something by a man earlier, but for all I know, I've read something by a man. I don't know.
Hey, I was thinking I really rarely do, but we'll be reading Red Rising, which is written by Pierce Brown. So that will be also out of our comfort zone. I was going to go into romance books we hate, but honestly, let's stay with the positivity. I'm going to ask you rapid fire questions, and then I guess I'll also answer myself. So, okay, I think we already know the answer to this one, but enemies to lovers or friends to lovers?
Enemies to lovers.
Okay, I'm friends to lovers. Fake dating, yes or no?
Yes, 100%.
The one bed trope?
No, I think it's silly. I mean, I eat it up, obviously, but I'm like, can we not just throw a mattress on the ground? Like, what is going on here, people? We don't have to sleep in the same bed.
I love how others find like any way possible to make it one bed.
I feel like, sorry, we'll move on.
Slow burn or instant obsession?
You know, I would have used to say instant obsession, but I have matured and the slow burn is the way to go.
I also second the slow burn. Okay, second chance romance, love it or skip?
Love it.
Me too. Okay, age gap romance.
I'm not a fan, personally. Well, okay, I should say I'm not a fan when the woman's older. And now that I'm 30, I'm not a fan when the man's older either. But if you'd asked me 10 years ago, I'd have been like, heck yes. Now that I'm 30, no, creepy. I don't like.
Yeah, within reason.
Mhm.
Unless they're phase and one's 500 years old and the other one's 20, then I'm fine with it.
That's acceptable, clearly. Agreed.
Okay, workplace romance, fun or stressful?
Fun as long as it's a different, like when they're in the publishing industry, 100% eat that up.
Or the film industry, like that
Yeah.
kind of like, when
Yeah.
they're like producers or whatever. Okay, golden retriever or grumpy hero?
If it's a guy, golden retriever. If it's a girl, I want her to be darkness, and him be sunshine.
Okay, I second that. Yeah, I think so. Okay, morally gray love interest, is it hot or toxic?
Okay. Yes, it's hot, but it is so toxic.
Okay, I'll take that answer. Oh, I don't like this next question. We're just going on. Okay, we actually know the answer to this. Love triangle, does it add to the drama or does it ruin everything?
Both. But I don't love the love triangle these days.
Which brought me back to the first Throne of Glass book, and I just feel like it wasn't really a love triangle.
No, it was not. It wasn't. Although I think it was intended to be, because wasn't she intended to end up with Dorian and then the book took a turn for the better?
I don't know the lore.
I thought that was the lore, but maybe I'm just crazy.
I'm just not on, I have not been perpetually on TikTok, so I don't know
That's
the
fair.
lore. I have not done my research, so maybe. Okay, so we'll go into reading habits. Standalone romance or a series?
If it's I like standalones. If it's in the same world but different characters, I'm cool with that. I don't want to have to read 3 books of Belly choosing between 2 brothers.
I agree with that. Okay, dual POV or a single POV?
I don't know. It really depends on how well the author writes it. I think the dual POV adds a really nice touch if done well, because I want to see his perspective. But sometimes it's not really done well, and then it takes me out of the story, or I'm like, I don't really care about this perspective. So that's, I don't know. It's a kind of a
If
tough
he's
one.
yearning for her, I am in.
Sure. I want to see him yearn. So if that's the way we get it, great.
Audiobook or physical reading?
For romance, I can do either, but I would prefer a Kindle.
Also, honestly, I've been really trying to not be like constantly having something going. So I've been taking I haven't really doing a lot of audiobooks, doing more reading, but I've been reading a lot more. So it's been good balance. And then Kindle Unlimited romance is hit or miss. I don't think you've read a lot of like random Kindle Unlimited romances.
No, so that's one of my goals this year is once busy season's over, I'm going to do a month or two of Kindle Unlimited and try and read as many of them as I can because there are several that have been recommended to me, but like I'm always busy and if I'm spending that much money, oh, well you need to be so like summer, I'm going to like make it maybe a book talk or BookTube challenge and be like, "All right, 1 month of Kindle Unlimited, let's see how many I can do."
See, I never unsubscribe. I've been subscribed forever. It's just like it's a support. It's like a safety net. Like when I had nothing to read, I have Kindle Unlimited.
That's true.
I
And
don't know if I get my money's worth, but I do it. I have it
yeah,
there just in case.
there are really good books on there. I don't know how many times someone's recommended a book and I'm like, "Oh yeah, but it's like $26." And they're like, "No, it's on Kindle Unlimited." And I'm like, well, I could just like if I was paying what is it, $16.99 a month, I could just read this and other things. So like I think it's a really good financial decision as long as you commit to using it. I think if you have to read at least one book a month to make it worthwhile, but that's doable.
Yeah, I think I do. Or sometimes I make up for it. Okay, so that's reading habits. And then let's do two more questions. Let me see. Okay. So
Oh
okay.
no.
Third act breakup necessary. Okay, how much gonna do four more questions? Third act breakup necessary or unnecessary?
Unnecessary, and I'm gonna lump that in with miscommunication trope. Just stop. Just
That was the
communicate.
next question.
I'm sorry, but just communicate. You're clearly meant to be together.
Okay, so then we only have two more questions. And I already probably know the answer to one of them. Insta love, believable or cringe?
Cringe. It's cringe. It's not real life.
And then the last question is surprise pregnancy, which we know the answer for you.
Okay, look, as long as it's not happening to me, I'll support whatever author wants to do it, all right?
Okay, that's all I have. Should we end the episode here?
I think that's a great place.
Okay. Well, thanks for listening. Happy Valentine's Day. This is Kayla.
And Marissa.
And make sure to hit subscribe and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Book Talks Podcast. Bye.